Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this evening, Michael, followed by other vaguely anime host. I guess that's not an inaccurate statement.
It's not, but
Other cultured corner host, Sage.
that's me.
And today's culture is Marvel,
Yeah.
apparently, because you started rewatching.
I-
Phase 4.
Not rewatching Phase 4 because I had only watched like bits and pieces because I wasn't like keeping up with it, because honestly after Endgame, I know I've said this before, but I was just like, damn, I am tired and I am not even making these movies.
Yeah,
I am
burnout's
just
real.
tired of watching them. So I decided after Endgame to give myself like a super long break. Basically, my break was the entirety of Phase 4.
Yeah.
Because I think the only thing I watched, no, it was all of Phase 4, because the first thing I watched after Endgame was Quantumania, sorry.
That was the first thing you watched?
Post Endgame, probably.
You watched the end of Phase 4?
Yeah.
Or the beginning of Phase 5?
Yeah, beginning of Phase 4.
You watched the first movie of Phase 5.
Yeah.
So you just skipped the entirety of...
Because I was just like, I am exhausted, y'all. Like, I cannot do this.
Didn't you watch Doctor Strange?
Oh, you're right. And I did watch WandaVision.
Okay, so then...
And Moon Knight.
Okay, well, then you lied.
But you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't...
Yeah.
The only thing I was watching as it was coming out was WandaVision. Just because I loved the concept
Yeah.
that they were going for, and I knew I had to watch it as it was coming out.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Other
Phase 4
shows
really
I felt
has,
like I could just let them go by
Mm-hmm.
and like pick up on a later date and I would be okay.
I feel like at this point, I'm at a point where I'm like, if I skip it, I won't watch it. So I'm just like, I just gotta watch it when it comes out, because like, it's not like it's like there's the fatigue, but it's not like I'm not gonna watch these. It's just like, if I don't do it now, I won't.
Right.
You know, like it.
But I feel like you consume way more content in general,
Yeah.
and you keep up. Like, it's not even that you're keeping up with like movies and TV shows and anime that's coming out right now. You also keep up with like video games that are coming out right now and things like that. Like, I feel like you have a lot more to straddle.
Yeah, that is true. I think, I mean, but it's also like, you know, other people I know that do that, like Eamon and whatnot, like they're burnt out of the MCU completely. Right. But I don't know. I think it's like, because comics, video games, I don't really read a lot of Marvel, which maybe that helps.
Right.
Because I don't find many Marvel comics to be interesting to me. And any characters I do like are usually written badly. It's not been true for a little bit. Daredevil's been fucking banging. Moon Knight's been awesome, and whatnot. But Spider-Man always sucks. Spider-Man's always awful. Right now he's in like a villain arc. Essentially, it's bad. It's not worth it. It's just not worth getting into. But yeah. So like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's like, it's pretty hard for me to get burnout, I feel like.
Right.
Because I don't know. Like, I've trudged through so much dog shit in my life. I feel like I can be happy with mediocrity sometimes, which is like not a good thing.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I feel like I'm the opposite, where like, because when I was younger, like I didn't watch like an exorbitant amount of things.
Right.
Like, even to this day, like I don't really stray out of things I'm already interested in, if that makes sense. And like, when I do get into something, I either do it one of two ways, where I like slowly trickle myself into it, or I have to like dive like head first and I need to know literally everything about it right away. And for most things, like if I like something, I'll stick with it forever. But the second I decide I'm not interested in something, the chances of me picking it up are pretty slim.
Right.
So I feel like I've not had as much like garbage to sift through, because I've just been more selective, I guess. And I don't have the capacity to care.
To be
You
fair,
know what I mean?
most of the shit I've dredged through is anime.
That's fair.
Because I mean, well, and some comics, because sometimes it's like sports where sometimes you don't get to pick your favorite team. It just is the team that it is, and you just have to support the bad team. Like being a Mets fan or a Jets fan, you know, like how it's like you just kind of end up being one, and then they always
even
suck.
though they stink.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's like that, where it's like, being a fan of Red Hood, where like he sucked for years, you know. So it's like sometimes you just kind of get into a track where you're like, well,
This is my life now.
I gotta support it. I gotta support my boy.
LOL.
So sometimes, like with comics, it's like comics and anime, where it's like sometimes you just gotta commit to trudging through the shit. Because
that's how I feel supporting ITZY right now, because it's just been rough for like 2 years.
oh yeah,
But I know they will come back to their glorious form eventually.
yeah, it's like being an NSYNC fan. It only took about 30
20 years.
Yeah. now they're gonna come back, which is weird.
It is
I feel
weird.
like they really only came back because writers and actors can't be promoting anything right now, and so the studio was like, "Hey, NSYNC, you want to?" Because they're all part of that movie, right? The Trolls movie.
Oh, the Trolls 3 movie?
Yeah.
Oh, are they?
Aren't they the boy band?
They might be the boy band.
I thought
I have
so.
no. I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
So I was like, it definitely felt like, if that's true, maybe I'm wrong, but even if I'm wrong, it's still Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah.
Who is the main character. So I feel like they approached him like, hey, you're not part of the Actors Guild. You want to get your bandmates together and be like a cool tour, like we're getting back together thing just to promote this movie because we can't have anyone else be promoting it right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like it feels like that's the reason. Is it? Who knows? But that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Anyway, that's not the point. Marvel.
Yeah. So I just recently watched Loki. And
One of the better Phase 4s.
yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I like the aesthetic that they were going for the TVA, and like that kind of like
Retro feel.
retro, like mid-century modern, and like this is the future, what it would look like, but
Right.
from that perspective, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It's like the Jetsons.
Yeah, like very much like the Jetsons. Like I really like the way that looked. I like the idea that it's like this almost DMV level of like monotony.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was cute.
Plus, I mean, you got Tom Hiddleston as your main character. So
Yeah, I think
you really can't fuck it up.
he does a great job. Like I feel like he's so good as Loki that if they ever were like, okay, we're gonna cast a different person to be Loki, not in the way that like Sylvie is Loki.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That show really makes you root for interdimensional incest.
but is it incest? Because they're both themselves, each other.
Interdimensional
Self-cest?
masturbation.
Like, you know what I mean? Which
Either way, it still makes a lot of people root for it.
is really weird.
They
like,
have such good chemistry.
I think it makes sense for his character. Like,
that he'd
I
be
could,
so in love with
I
himself.
could believe that level of narcissism from himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it is the when you take a like, once you start thinking about it, it's not just like shiny stuff happening on the screen. You're like, this is weird.
It's weird, but like you're also rooting for it.
I'm not.
No, you cannot tell me they don't have incredible chemistry.
I think they have great chemistry, but I actually would prefer if they were like bantery, witty BFFs.
But again, it fits him. It fits him so well that he would fall in love with himself.
It does make sense why that happens, right? But, and I guess it's just also like the context of the scene. And this is, I guess, spoiler for Loki. If you're like me and behind on every single trend, and you didn't watch it yet, spoilers from here on out. Like when they have their kiss, and then she just immediately betrays him which again makes sense for the characters,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want them to be smooching.
But I kind of do. I'm surprised you're on the anti that train based on everything culturally that you and me have ever consumed.
No, I know, and it does seem weird. I guess because like just the context of the show and like the background, and also I felt like the buildup that they had throughout the season. I never felt this like romantic vibe between them. Like I sensed a lot of like understanding and like compassion and admiration for one another.
I know I got a little bit of romanticism from it, but
you know, like at least for me, I could just be stupid. But like,
I just like
for me, I was like, oh, they're so like one with each other because they are the same person. But you know what I mean? Like I felt like they really understood each other, and I want them to be like sassy best friends together who just like shit on everyone else.
I kind of want a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You know?
No, I understand.
Maybe
and
that's the cultured part of
No,
me, but like it
I-
made me think. Like I was like,
I 100% understand why people would root for them to be together.
it's the same rule as culture. You just don't think about it. Anytime they say the word, you blank it out. Like it doesn't exist.
You black out for that second, and then you put yourself back in it. I get it. It's just for me, because I was watching this show. One, I was actually pretty invested in the show. Like I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's in my top 15.
So I was really paying attention. So for me, it was a little harder to just gloss my eyes over and ignore it.
I don't know. Maybe my censorship bar is really good.
The way you just can block out information in your own mind.
Hey man, when you're doing culture as long as I have,
I guess that's fair. Yeah, you just take out the context and you're fine.
yeah, context is
needs it?
never key.
Context, that's a killer.
Yeah, no, never have the context. Sometimes you just see a really good drawing and you're like,
Yeah, I could get down.
ignore the context
Yeah.
and just read the art.
Yeah. I understand. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Obviously, WandaVision I thought was excellent.
Mm-hmm. I think WandaVision just fails at the end because it's just another big battle.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the ending is the only part where they stumble, and I understand why they have to have that ending. Because it's Marvel and it's Disney, and they need to have laser battles and bright things flashing on screen.
I wish they would think they don't.
I also don't think they need to do that.
We've had that conversation that everything ends in world-ending things, and it's annoying.
Right.
Same with Moon Knight, whatever.
Right. But that's fine. Like for me, I just view WandaVision as like the first half, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like pre-Darkhold mentioning.
Right.
And I just go from there.
I like how Ship of Theseus Vision has not shown up since.
I know. Have they even alluded
Nope.
to him?
Nope, not at all.
popping back?
Doctor Strange happens and she's going crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't even show up in that.
Nope.
That's weird.
That has not been mentioned or anything since.
But I can't imagine they just forgot about it.
No, they definitely didn't.
So
I think they just...
maybe in Phase 5 we'll get him.
What I assume happened was that scripts were already written. And,
Right.
And then Vision came into effect.
Right.
And then they were like, oh,
Right.
well, the script for Doctor Strange is already written. Sorry, bud.
Yeah. Anyway, Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I haven't finished. I think I'm only halfway through. Being halfway through, I do so far like this kind of it's not a small problem, but smaller than like global intergalactic threat.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a problem that makes sense for Bucky and Sam, and I think it fits the scale of their capabilities, which I appreciate.
Has Sharon shown up?
No.
Okay.
We've met the new Captain America, and Starfighter or Star Fox or Star something. His like sidekick.
No, I know. I do not remember.
I don't remember his name
hero
either.
name.
I'm very sorry. But
I really didn't like it the first time. My
so,
rewatch did improve my opinion.
So here's my thing. One, I think the two big battles we've gotten so far. So in episode 1, you have like the essentially like parachute dogfight in like the mountains. I thought that was great showcasing of like Sam's abilities with the wings and like, you know, whatever. I thought that was very creative for his skill sets.
Yeah, wingsuits.
Yeah, it works really well for him specifically. And then when you have Sam and Bucky on like the two moving 18-wheelers, I thought that was also a really good showmanship of like what they can do, but also the like threat they're up against of like, you know, the super soldiers that are rogue or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
I thought that was a good setup as well. Then you get introduced to, I mean, this happens like in between this.
They also have incredible chemistry.
Yes, great that's the one thing I think Marvel really does perfectly. The way they cast these actors to play off each other, and I don't know if maybe it's just because they've all been doing it for so long together that you really can build that bond.
Right.
But in basically everything, even something where maybe I don't like it as much, I can never really complain about the chemistry that people have on screen together.
Right.
I can't complain about the relationships that they're building because it always makes sense for the characters. Like it works within like what they've established for like different groups, and you know what I mean. Like it's so well done.
Yeah, and Bucky and Sam work fantastically.
They're really good together.
Yeah.
So I feel very weird about this new Captain America guy. So you first see him and it's this like what is it called, like a press conference? Is that what like a press release, press statement? I don't know what you like officially call it.
Kurt Russell's kid.
And they're like,
Wyatt Russell.
oh, here's the new Captain America, right? And when they were reading off his like achievements list, I was like, okay, that sounds good. Like, you seem like you're a good person, but don't tell me, but just let me know if I'm leaning in the right direction, if this makes sense. Okay. So when they introduce him, so I've only seen him in 2 episodes now because they introduce him in episode 2 and then we continue to have him in episode 3. He gives me this vibe of like slight cockiness, arrogance, could secretly be a bad guy vibe. Not a bad guy directly, but like influence the tide for bad guys. Like could be easily influenced to be a bad guy.
Okay.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
And do you want me to answer that?
No.
Okay.
But that's just the vibe I'm getting.
I feel like that's pretty overtly a vibe.
Okay. Because here's the thing. They are having this fight on the moving 18-wheelers, and this man pulls out a gun, and when I was sitting there watching this, I went, a gun? I was so genuinely shocked.
I mean, he doesn't have superpowers.
No, I know he doesn't have superpowers, but I was just like, no. You cannot be the mantle that is Captain America, who is like a boots on the ground fist guy. You know what I mean? He can't be showing up to a fist fight with a gun. That's not fair. This Captain America would never get Thor's hammer. I would just like to say, in my humble yet correct opinion.
Just like to point out that is Bucky when he became Captain America in the comics.
See, but it's not Steve now, is it?
I know, I'm just saying, but Captain America has held guns.
No, I know he's had guns in like previous iterations, but doesn't it just feel wrong?
Also in the first movie.
Doesn't it just feel wrong?
He's just a dude. Sometimes with strong punch man, but like he's still just a dude.
Sometimes strong punch man. But anyway, so the gun threw me off.
Okay.
Especially because this version of Captain America is even more just a dude than Steve.
He's just an American hero.
He's just a guy.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good about this new Captain America. Also, I don't know if they did this intentionally, but without the like helmet neck strap situation going on, he looks like a normal person. Then with the helmet neck like chin strap thing, his face looks squished. Like it's too small for him.
It's on purpose.
That's what I thought. Because I was like...
It's made to not look completely right on him.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Because I was like, there is no way.
Because everybody thought the same thing.
There
Everybody
is
watching that when it was coming out was like...
I was watching. I was like...
that does not do Wyatt Russell any favors.
I was going to say, because he's not an unattractive guy. He's handsome without the mask on. You know what I mean? So I was like, there's no way. Everybody saw this in Marvel, in Disney, and they were like, yeah, that's good to go.
Yeah,
just
no,
check it right
it's
off.
supposed to feel off.
Yes. Okay. So I was like, this is horrible, and I hate it.
Yeah. I did have bettering opinions of Falcon and Winter Soldier the second time around.
Yeah.
Because the first time around I did not like it. I didn't think it was good at all.
Really?
I also didn't think a lot of the fight scenes were very good.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just didn't think it was very good. Second time around, I did enjoy it a lot more. But they do Sharon so dirty. They absolutely ruin her character.
I haven't gotten to her yet, so I'll see what happens with her. But does she become like damsel-y, if that makes sense?
No, worse.
Worse than damsel?
Yeah.
Oh,
because it just betrays her character.
Oh, okay.
Like she's not like, which you could say damsel would be betraying her character, but it's not that. I don't know. I don't like it. I haven't seen many people that do.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
don't like it. It feels bad.
I'll see what happens with her. I'm also just going in order of what it says, like the timeline order is. Shang-Chi, which I think we talked about before.
Yeah, we did kind of recently. Which
I think it's fine.
Again, the first half, great.
Yeah.
I really wish it just stayed in the first half, and it was just Shang-Chi fucking running around San Francisco or whatever and beating up fucking ninjas.
Yeah.
Until it goes and becomes super CGI master fight, and you're like, okay, I don't need this.
Yeah.
I want to love Shang-Chi so much more than I do, and it's the second half just ruins it so much for me. Like, it's because the wushu is so cool. That opening fight scene with the parents,
so good.
Oh my god, I want more of that, and I also want just more of fucking Simu Lee. No, that's not his last name. Simu. I don't remember his last name. I'm spacing on his last name.
The
actual actor.
Yes, I can't think of his last name now. Damn. L-U? Lou?
Is it?
I don't know that's how you pronounce it, though. I'm absolutely probably wrong.
Fuck, where the fuck is it? I'm just trying to find the movie so I can pull it up.
Yeah. While you try to pull that up, I'm just going to skip right ahead real quick. Because we already talked about Shang-Chi.
Simu. It's Liu.
Liu.
And I totally knew this at one point.
Liu?
Yeah, maybe. I'm just gonna stick with Simu.
Yeah.
Which I know is not the correct Chinese pronunciation, but I think it's Chinese. I'm pretty sure I watched an interview that he's like, yeah, it's Chinese.
I think he's Chinese.
But with him just fucking beating people up, because he's a great stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
It just becomes illegible in the second half, and it sucks. And I'm sure that's on the Marvel execs more than it is directors.
Right. And then moving on to Eternals. This is again timeline order. I've said
Eternals sucks.
Eternals, if anything,
Eternals is so boring.
If anything needed to be a television show in the MCU, especially in Phase 4 when it was so television show heavy, it needed to be Eternals. You cannot have a movie that's like 80%. Eternals and Cats have the same problem. And do you know what it is? 80% of it is character introductions and 20% is plot.
Yeah, and the plot's not good. And the characters aren't interesting.
I can't spend the whole movie just going, oh, here's a new character on screen, and then nothing happens.
Eternals, I've watched twice.
I think I've watched Eternals like 3 times now, and it doesn't get better.
It doesn't. It does not get better. because when I did my rewatch of all of the MCU, I was like, maybe it'll get better in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it sure didn't. It's just boring, and that's like the worst crime of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you can be bad, but if you're boring, it's worse.
I think if it was a TV show, right? Because most of these MCU TV shows are what, hour long, 6-episode
Yeah, we're on there.
shindigs, right? If you had done it as a TV show, even let's say you gave yourself 8 episodes or whatever, you could have spent so much more time. Like, you could spend the first episode developing them in like man developing like civilization and whatever, right? And then we can connect with them and understand their connection with humans. And then episode 2, you like jump forward in time, and it's like one of the first major conflicts,
Right.
where it's like essentially a continental conflict, and how they are either not a part of it or deciding what they should do. You know what I mean? Show more connection with each other and humans. And you know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
The
I
biggest
just
problem too is that nobody gives a shit about the Eternals in any form. Like, even the comics.
Right.
Like, nobody gives a shit about the Eternals.
right.
And so, like, it's so hard to make people care about characters nobody's ever cared about.
But then they do nothing to make us care about them.
No.
You know what I mean? And they don't even do like it in a lazy way. They just don't do it.
The only interesting characters in that movie are Harish Patel, who is Karun, the
like Bollywood guy?
yeah, because he's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
And Angelina Jolie and her partner, who's
The punch guy.
yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his actual name correctly.
That's valid.
But he's in a lot of shit, and I like him in a lot of stuff. I think those 3 characters are the most interesting, but they still are barely anything. And the speedster effects are cool.
We didn't get any time for them to become interesting is the
Nope.
problem.
We didn't get time for anything. They just go and find their ship, and oh, there's the speedster.
You know what I think? You know what I think it is? If they had done Eternals is like doing a movie like Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had done Avengers with nothing prior.
Yeah, like Batman v Superman. Or Justice League.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they had done Avengers with no build-up and they were like, hey, here are these heroes you should care about. You want backstory? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. Eternals is my 3rd to last movie in my MCU ranking.
That's, I think, extremely fair.
Yeah. It's only beaten beaten by Captain Marvel and the original Hulk. Secret Invasion's right above it. Although, honestly, Secret Invasion might deserve to be under it. The only reason why it's not is because it's just easier to watch a TV show than it is 3 hours of boring.
I guess that's fair.
You know? Like...
Yeah. Following the Eternals is Multiverse of Madness, which
I think it's good.
I thought it was good.
I think it has problems.
I think the question mark that is Wanda's death feels slightly contrived.
I think a lot of things with Wanda in that movie aren't written the tightest. Because,
Well-
like, even if you watch WandaVision, it still feels like we didn't get a reason for why she's that far gone. And, like, yeah, the Darkhold, but, like, it feels like we needed a little more into that.
Well, I feel like if they had taken it, let's say in
For her to just straight up go and start murdering people with nonchalantly. Like,
right.
You know?
I think if they had taken away their laser beam fight with Agatha and Wanda.
And like went more into the ending being
And-
more of her losing herself to the Darkhold.
Right.
Yeah.
If they had established that, let's say in like, how many episodes is it? 9 or 8?
Something like that.
Let's say in the second to last episode, or maybe even before that, right? Or during like the explanation of it all, right? Where we see her creating the hex and blah, blah, blah. She creates the hex in part because she gets the Darkhold. And and it's getting more and more big and elaborate and huge. And she's only using the Darkhold because of her grief, right? So you can
Right.
still tie in the grief aspect of it, and that can still be the main focus of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And see her go through the stages of grief. But as it progresses, the reason why things are moving forward is in part because the Darkhold is getting stronger and stronger, right? And then instead of Agatha fighting her, and then she decides to undo the hex, right?
Right.
She realizes that she's no longer, like, the lengths she's going to are so extreme, and she feels like she is getting too overpowered by the Darkhold. So she has that her epiphany by herself. So she decides, I'm going to let all of this go, right? Kids, bye-bye. Vision, bye-bye. But then you have her, let's say in like a post-credit scene or something like that, you have that, because you know how like the Darkhold is supposed to be like tempting.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides, I'm going to put this away, but then she's tempted back to it because she misses these children that she's created too greatly.
Yeah.
So then she goes really into the deep end, but instead of creating like a fake imaginary world, she goes inward and she's just allowing it to fester and bubble.
Right.
And become so extreme, you know what I mean? Then when you have her be this level of crazy in Multiverse of Madness, it comes off a little bit smoother.
Yeah, because it just feels like it's such a jump. Even when you watch the show,
Right.
it doesn't feel like you witness the corruption of the Darkhold. It's just implied. And I
Right.
feel like the implication isn't strong enough for you to vibe with.
I mean, the implication, I think, is a good enough excuse. It's just...
It is, but it still feels too jarring.
It's just not good enough because I think Marvel is better than that.
Right.
They have an infinite amount of time to explain themselves.
Yeah.
So why are we rushing?
Yeah. And
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and especially because it's just like, it feels like from what we witness, that Wanda wouldn't have been so far gone that she wouldn't have just been like, oh, what if I just look for a universe where like I just died
Yeah.
and I can go find the kids there,
Right.
and they just won't know or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like she's that far gone that she wouldn't think of that,
Right.
you know? But it's just like, because the amount of people that I saw watching that movie being like, why didn't she think of that? Like, which leads you to believe that they didn't establish it in a hard enough way
Right.
that it makes it obvious that the Darkhold is why she's not thinking about it. You know?
Or I think because you know how
And obviously we're backseat
driving.
backseat driving.
This is
here,
all
so, like,
hindsight, obviously.
Yeah.
Hindsight is 20/20. We can't obviously change anything. But if we could change it, what if? Because you know how the whole thing that they're establishing, like the Dreamwalker and blah blah blah, right?
Right.
So if the beginning of the movie, and I know this is a Doctor Strange movie, but it is like sidecar WandaVision movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the beginning of the movie, or when we are first introduced to Wanda, it's actually Wanda with her kids, right? But then they explain that that's her dream walking, not for the first time, but as you dream walk more and more, you get like more and more diluted.
Right.
And because she's only dream walking because she has the Darkhold, and that's also diluting her, you know what I mean? Like if it was something like that, because she's then experiencing being with the children.
Right.
But she needs a vessel to do it. You know what I mean? Like if they had that kind of explanation.
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, I think Multiverse of Madness is a fairly solid movie. I like it quite a lot. And what it does well with Sam Raimi just going and making it scary as shit at times.
Yeah, Sam,
you know, like,
Sam Raimi just being Sam Raimi.
Raimi.
Like when she's like covered in blood
And she's
like fucking doing the demon like run after them.
Yeah, like the Deadite run.
Yeah, and oh my god, I think I said this before, but the scene where Professor X like enters her mind, and it's like that super wide blank white room. Oh my, it's so good.
And then, but then like you have that stuff where like people pick apart where the, like, you know, the Illuminati are like, this is Black Bolt. One word will kill him. And you're like, you're the smartest man on the planet, and that's what you're going to fucking say?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, no, Doctor Strange, you're the threat, not the person going through and murdering a bunch of people currently.
Yeah.
Like, where you're like, all right, I feel like some parts of this movie could have used another pass of just, like, reasoning.
But maybe in their universe, he is the
he
smart.
was.
Maybe in their universe, he is the smartest, but, like, in other universes, he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, well,
you know what I
Richards
mean?
is supposed to be one of the smartest men on the planet.
Well, I know that, but
I still think I'm still in the camp also that John Krasinski is a fantastic Mr. Fantastic.
I feel like he's too beefy, at least visually.
No, because like him and Emily Blunt are a great pairing for Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic.
You're absolutely right. I think that would be great if we got that, but I don't know, something about like his look just doesn't fit the vibe for me.
I mean, like, I get why people disagree. I
Right.
totally get it. I have just I don't know. I feel like it could work. And I thought he was a fine Mr. Fantastic for the small amount we got.
Oh, for the I'm not complaining.
But
Like,
also they I think Sam Raimi came out and was like, I only did that so that people on the internet would realize they were wrong. So, but I don't know. It was still fun seeing all those people and seeing like Captain Carter in live action and whatnot.
Yeah.
She got fucking bisected too.
yeah, she got fucking obliterated.
Yeah. But anyway.
Anyway.
It was a solid movie. It's 16 on my MCU ranking. So,
And then we move on to Hawkeye, which I
is
think,
my number 10 because Hawkeye fucking rocks.
I think Hawkeye is, again, this small scale problem.
It's all they need is more small scale.
It's so perfect. It's like
It's just fighting
I
gangs.
am already obsessed with Haley Steinfeld, and I think
she's
she
fantastic.
kills it in basically any role she's in. But the fact that she's just slotted herself in all these like superhero movies, and she does such a good job.
Fantastic, Kate
like
Bishop.
her like delivery as Gwen is so different from her delivery as Kate Bishop, and it's both super believable.
Yeah. Half the time I forget she's Gwen, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, like she's just such
Like someone's
such
like,
a fantastic
I get where you're reminded that it's
actress.
her every time. I'm like, fuck, she's great as Gwen.
So good. But like her Kate is I don't know if endearing is the right word, but like you really want to root for her. Like you can understand
She's believable.
Like she's believable in that like she's this college girl who's like so like bright-eyed and like believes the best in people but is like kind of dumb.
Yeah, but also absurdly talented.
But like
But doesn't know how to use the talent
right,
in any
right. But she
good
like
way.
she has like all the equipment, she just doesn't know how to use any of it.
Yeah, like you see that she has all the trophies. She has achieved these goals, but no idea how to connect them into anything.
Yeah, like
she has the ability to be a great superhero, but just can't put it together for it to work.
she's done all the training, but she has no understanding of like using them practically.
Yeah. Like she's Bruce Wayne, but if Bruce Wayne never had the intelligence to be like, all right, Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just being like, so I can do this, but I'm still Bruce Wayne. What do
I can do stuff real good.
Just like, so So do I just like go out and like punch people as me now, or
I think if I go around just punching people as myself, I might get in trouble.
yeah? So it's just like never put it together, like how to make all of this knowledge into one being.
But no, I think she's great. I really like that we see Clint and his family.
It makes me like Clint's random ass having a family because it's so random,
right?
Like, because in the comics, he's a fucking loser. Like, he's great. People love Clint.
Right.
Hawkeye, the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run is incredible. He has like 4 ex-wives. Like, he's just he lives in a fucking shitty apartment.
Right.
Like, but he's also an Avenger. Like,
yeah.
you know? But so like in the movies, it's so weird that he randomly had a family with like 7 kids.
But
this show like justifies it.
But I want to actually ask this question because we first see his family in Endgame.
No.
When did we first see his
Age
family?
of Ultron?
Age of
because
Ultron.
that's the whole joke that they go to his farm.
Right.
And
yes.
they're like,
yes.
these
yes.
are agents, and those are smaller agents.
Yes. Yes. Age of Ultron is within like the OG cast of Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that they established to have like a regular home life.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, in Age of Ultron, they do it as a way to ground him more, so that way, like, because also he was going to die in that movie originally. It was not going to be Quicksilver. Joss Whedon was going to kill Hawkeye.
Wow, aren't they glad they didn't do that?
Well, they were going to do that, and then they were like, no, you can't. So that's why it like the entire movie, it feels like Hawkeye's going to die.
Right.
Because he was.
Right.
But so it's there, A, for that, and B, because it's supposed to just take the Avengers way out of their element.
Right.
And be like, this dude is the human of all of you.
He's
and
the most human.
Yeah, and he's
like he's got 3 kids and a wife
yeah.
at home on a fucking ranch.
Yeah. So it's also partially like for that, which
Right.
again, it feels very weird, but it works fine. And then I think it works really well because of Hawkeye.
I also think...
I think it does fine in Endgame, too. It gives, you know...
I was going to say, I feel like the payoff is in Endgame where...
Why he becomes Ronin.
Right, you know what I mean? Where we see him witness his family get blipped.
Yeah. It definitely gives a much more...
And that's the opening scene, you know what I mean?
It definitely gives much more of a good reasoning for why he becomes Ronin, other than just, like, being sad.
It's a good reason for him becoming Ronin, but it's also because during Infinity War, when everyone's being dusted, we only see the heroes dusting.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
I mean... We see random like car crashes and stuff and whatnot.
Right, but you know what I mean. The focus is on
the people,
the heroes.
Yeah, like even when it's like you seeing the car crashes, like from
like
when Samuel Jackson,
right?
And,
when
like
Nick Fury
it's
being
still
dusted.
mostly focusing on him.
Yeah. So when you open an Endgame with Clint seeing his family be dusted, because it's just like his kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it just grounds it in this like really painful reality,
right?
That like this man just lost his entire fucking family.
Yeah,
like I think it does a good job there, and it's such a good setup for like, okay, 5 years later, like it's been 5 years, and this man has just had to suffer through that grief for that whole period without his family, kind of thing.
But I think Hawkeye is let's see, hold on, real quick. Fact check myself. Okay, besides Guardians 3 and No Way Home, I think Hawkeye is the best thing that Marvel has put out since Endgame, end of Phase 3. Again, besides No Way Home and Guardians 3, I think Hawkeye is the best. It's my number 10, and I just. The smaller scale, the action, the character interactions, fucking Kate Bishop and Yelena, like Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld are
Such
excellent.
good chemistry.
They are the best frenemies
yes.
ever. Like the dumb shit, like like when they're in the elevator and she just hits all the buttons. She's like, "Oh, come on,
don't be like
yeah.
that."
She like pulls the dress off of her and she spins and she's in her like hero costume. She's like, "Did you plan that?" And she's like, "Yes." And she just looks at her like, "No, you didn't." And then she goes to break the window and she throws something and it just hits her hand and she's like, "Ow, that really hurt." Like they are adorable.
They're so good together.
And the mac and cheese scene when she just breaks into her apartment, like it's all so good. And they're
sorry,
go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off. I just think it also their interactions just show how young they are compared to, let's say, like OG Avengers, because
like Clint would never even bother.
You know what I
interacting.
mean? Like OG Avengers, when we're first meeting them, they're all supposed to feel like fully grown adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Kate and Yelena
Yeah.
feel like young 20-somethings.
Yeah.
Like, just like fresh out of college, like I can take on anything,
Right.
but I also don't have a clue on what I'm doing kind of vibe.
Like everybody in the original run, like Clint was a fucking SHIELD agent for like 30-something fucking years and was just a dude with a fucking bow.
Yeah. He was just a guy who shot good.
Yeah, like, and then you have Child that just is really, really fucking good at things because she watched dude with bow shoot things in New York one day when she was a child and her dad died in the explosion of her building. But like it's the story itself is really grounded, and even like and it brings back Kingpin. Which is which was fun, and even though he has like super strength in this version, like it's still fun.
It's so funny, and I think I might have said this before. So with like the mom reveal of it all, the whole time I was originally watching, I was like, is the mom evil?
Absolutely.
And then I was like,
I love that the stepdad isn't.
I know, right?
Or the boyfriend, whatever he is.
But then I think he was like gonna propose to the mom or something.
Yeah.
So like on the way to becoming a stepdad, but not yet.
Yeah.
But the whole time I was like, no, like that would be too obvious. The mom's not evil. Like I'm sure she's fine.
Right.
And then I would go back to be like, maybe she is evil.
I just like that, like, he's like the stepdad's actually just trying his best.
Yeah, he just wants to connect with this like
Yeah. And
budding
she's
young
just like
woman.
thinking that he's like, nah, he's the villain. He's got to be the bad guy.
He's got all the marks of a bad guy, and he's trying to be my stepdad.
Yeah, like that smile, the mustache.
Clearly villainous.
Yeah. And then like the fucking fencing and everything. And
Yes.
then when everything goes down, he has his fucking stupid ass sword. And he's like, I'll help. And you're like, he's really just trying.
Yeah, he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hawkeye, absolutely enjoyed it. I don't know if we're getting a season 2.
I really want us to.
I would love to get a season 2. I would, unless they're gonna like do a movie. I don't know.
I don't know. What I worry that they're just gonna be like, nah, Young Avengers, and I'm just gonna be like, that's fine, I guess, but
it's not the same.
I'd rather have a season 2 of Hawkeye.
Yeah, I mean they're doing season 2 of Loki, so
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess if they do a season 2 of Loki, like they can't really have.
They kind of had to.
But if you think about it, like I don't think you can have
A Loki movie.
Not even a Loki movie, but I don't think you could have Tom Hiddleston's Loki
Interact with people.
Interact with like this main core Avenger.
Yeah, it
group
kind of
that you're
feels like
trying to
he's
do.
now just off in his own branch.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But like it also just like,
And it does make sense, I guess, with what they set up with Loki, that he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because he teleports himself during 2012 Avengers, which he wasn't supposed to.
Right.
Hence,
hence
the whole show
existing.
happening.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense for him to blip himself back into the current timeline.
Yeah.
So it works for him to be on his own.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting season 2 for sure. But I would love a season 2 of Hawkeye. I feel like it would be so good.
I feel like it works really well as a show.
Yeah. Moving on from Hawkeye, Moon Knight.
Like
Same
50-50.
50-50. Same problem I had with WandaVision, to be honest.
I also am really annoyed that they cut out basically every fucking fight. That it's all just like DID'd away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I want to see Moon Knight beating the shit out of people.
I think Oscar Isaac does a really good job. I think he, especially the like nerdy museum version.
Yeah, although Stephen Grant's supposed to be a cool, suave fucking billionaire, but yeah, sure, whatever. I feel like they are setting up for that versions to be a thing,
Right.
but it was just kind of weird that they made that choice. But yeah, I mean, I think Oscar Isaac does a great job. I do agree. And I think there's a lot of really cool shit that they do. And I actually do like the suit. Both suits. I like I even though it doesn't make sense that Steven has his own version of the different suit and it's not just a different costume, but whatever. Because it just makes me think they're going to give him a third suit for Jake, which would be weird. But I don't know. I think there's some things they do questionably, especially the ending, because it's again another world-ending thing. But
which you just can't do in a television show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
especially
but again,
in this
Moon Knight should just
context.
be fucking beating up vampires in fucking New York City. I just want to see him decking vampires in an alleyway. But I think it's fun. I really like his wife's girlfriend's hero suit design.
Yes.
The Golden Scarab or whatever.
Yeah,
I forget her name, but
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Her design is incredible in that suit, and I do like her character a lot. And I think there's a lot of good moments, but it also slightly feels like they changed a lot about Moon Knight for no real reason.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't have like that big of a pool of knowledge for Moon Knight to begin with. Because I think
Right.
I've only read like
When we did the comic club.
a comic book club where I read the wrong thing and then the correct thing.
Yeah.
So that's the only real context I have. And in that context, I really enjoyed it. So having that little context, like, I like this version of the suit where it's like a suit.
Yeah, I don't think they could have just done like skin tight pure white. I don't think it would have looked very interesting. You need texture for a camera.
Right. So I like the way this looks because in that comic that we read, he has something similar.
Right.
Of an actual like suit that he's wearing, which I like. I just like the way it looks. I think the all white outfit is very sleek.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
I think the fights could have been better that we did get.
I will be like, I don't even really remember the fights.
They're not anything.
Yeah.
And that sucks because Moon Knight should be awesome to watch fight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
I didn't watch She-Hulk. Didn't watch all of Miss Marvel. Didn't watch Wakanda Forever. I forgot I watched Thor.
She-Hulk, I enjoy. People that bitch about it, I think, are just being babies. I mean, I can understand that it is not for everybody,
Right.
but a lot of the things that people were usually saying that was bad about it definitely felt like they were coming from a sexist angle more than just being like, these are problems I actually have with the show.
When I watch it, I'll have more opinions. My only true gripe, because I remember when Mark was watching and I would like see it on the TV every once in a while, is I will say from what I have seen, which is like very short little things, her in her Hulk form, I just always felt like the face is a little bit too small.
The problem
for the
definitely feels like, because like people are like, but Hulk looks great in the show, and you're like, well, yeah, because they had
15
years to perfect
make his
it.
model.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, obviously, She-Hulk's version does always kind of look a little off. But I will not fault the VFX team for that.
Right.
You know.
And the other thing is, I don't think I actually, from the small clips I saw, I don't think I ever noticed anything really wrong with the way the body looks. Like, that all looks fairly proportional and like
Right.
it makes sense. It's just the face is like, and this isn't even like the biggest thing in the world. It's just slightly too small to fill out the head space where it looks like not proportional.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. I think Wakanda Forever is
I've heard
fine.
mainly bad things,
I didn't really like it.
but I'll see what I see when I watch it.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of fine. Let's see. Miss Marvel. I voiced my opinions about Miss Marvel. Changing her powers, I think it hurts her character more than anything else. The ending is also a world-ending threat, which is stupid for Miss Marvel, especially for her first fucking outing as a hero.
Yeah. Because isn't the whole thing okay? So like, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, when she is having her powers and she's trying to like be a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
She's constantly fucking up.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like that I want to see. I want to see these heroes struggle and stumble and progress over time.
Right.
Cuz that's the whole point. Like Iron Man didn't have his infinite nanotech mode in the first movie.
Yeah, he was crashing into his own fucking cars and
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like his suits evolved across every single movie
yeah.
to the point where he just had this fucking fleet of suits.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what I want to see. But he also didn't have world-ending threats in the first movie.
Nope. Just a fucking ironmonger. Literally and figuratively.
Like, you know what I mean? So why would you have the show her stumbling and like
Who knows?
trying to it's that whole thing of like wanting to be a superhero but like you don't know how to help people,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And then I'm trying to think of what else. Werewolf by Night, fantastic.
Yes.
Werewolf by Night is incredible. And also a quick shout out to the fact that they are releasing it again for Halloween, but in color this time, which is purely, absolutely because they had the strike was going on, which meant they couldn't create another Halloween special.
Right.
Which they were just like, we'll just release it in color, which ruins the entire point of the show because the ending leads to the whole color. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You could just tell that because the strike was going on and they wouldn't pay the fucking writers and actors that they were just like, we'll release it in color.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Thor Love and Thunder.
My opinions of it were better the second time.
Maybe I need to watch it a second time because my first go through was not like, wow.
I don't think it's wow. I my bar has gotten so low that it's just like, can I have fun with it? And fun with it is like a 4 out of 5. Like that
Yeah.
I could rewatch it.
Yeah.
I still think that it is too much. Like there are jokes that are just too much in it. Like the fucking screaming goats
Right.
and stuff where you're just like, Jesus Christ. Like the Thor is just like too much of a himbo. He's too dumb.
I think the problem is you want the movie is trying to be in parts extremely serious heavy topics. And then it's also wanting to be like himbo to the max,
Like,
screaming goats,
there's a
ridiculousness.
There's a great scene that we see that it's a deleted scene between Thor and Zeus. That instead of the whole thing where they have that fight scene in the throne room and he throws
Right.
the bolt and fucking kills but doesn't kill Zeus,
right.
where they're actually just talking to each other, and he's just like actually giving good advice, and they actually talk, and he's like, yeah, I'll give you the thunderbolt, like here, like go stop this guy, whatever.
Right.
Like I can't do it in front of the gods because whatever, but like here, yeah. And like it's actually like a serious moment, and it's really well written and acted. And you're like, see, you had it right there. Like
Right.
if that was the scene instead of the joke scene, like it feels like I really like Taika Waititi as a director, but it feels like he just kind of has these moments where he's like, well, why have it serious when you can play it for a joke?
Right.
And you're like, but it doesn't always need to be the joke. And also, I don't think Korg is a good enough character to be that important in the movie.
I think
he overstayed his welcome.
Korg being this kind of constant background character, I think works. Like, you have him in Ragnarok, and you just get a little bit of him.
Yeah.
And then you have him in... Do we see him in Infinity War?
Endgame.
So he's not in Infinity War.
I don't think so.
Okay, but anyway, so then we see him in Endgame, and it's just a short scene. Nice, sweep, to the point.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think Korg's character in general needs to be.
Yeah,
like,
he
you
has
don't need
too
to make,
much limelight in Love and Thunder.
I think you don't need every character to be important.
Yeah.
Like, you can have secondary and tertiary characters, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And I just I think it's rated 22nd in my Marvel, so that's literally dead middle. Actually, I think technically 21 is dead middle because there's 42 movies. But I think they need to pull back a bit. You know, I still I don't think we're ever gonna get it, but I think the perfect Thor was in Infinity War, making the jokes but still was able to be serious.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever get that again. But
I mean, even in my opinion, the Thor we get in Endgame, post snap, where he's severely depressed and a pretty severe alcoholic, even though he's a god, so I don't know that he can process alcohol like that,
right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. He has to drink a lot.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, so when we're seeing Thor like that, I think he is wanting to, like, be this past version of himself, of, like, the funny haha Thor, but he can't because he's so stifled by his own regrets and, like,
right.
deep depression and things like that. But then, like, when we get to the fight scene with Thanos and all this, you get these little moments between him and other characters, primarily Captain America, but it's that perfect balance of serious and funny.
Right. Yeah.
And then in Love and Thunder, it's just all funny.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
And then the last one that I watched was Quantumania,
which I think is better than people give it credit for.
When I was
watching,
watching,
it's fun.
I remember people being upset about it and complaining about it, and then I watched it and I was like, I think this movie is fun. I really like, again, it's, in my opinion, they do some creative things. I love,
and Hank Pym is awesome in that movie.
Yeah, like, I think it's really creative. I like the worlds that they're creating in this, like, microscopic fucking universe.
I kind of understand people's gripe where they're like, but the main villain for this entire phase, all the phases,
right?
Because Kang being bested in a fist fight by Ant-Man, like, I kind of get it, but it's a different version of him, like,
right. And I remember somebody saying that they were upset because they kill off this version of Kang, but then who's gonna be, like, the main big bad Kang, right? But I'm like, but they also kill Kang in Loki.
Yeah.
So it's not like we didn't already have another version of him.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, what is the complaint?
Like, and then it ends with showing other versions. Like,
yeah. So and even, okay, so
I do kind of get it where they're like, you know, Thanos constantly was showing up to be built up upon. We haven't seen the Kang. So I get it.
I agree. However, the Thanos that we get, yes, he's built up upon from Avengers to Infinity War. But the Thanos that we get in Endgame is not the same Thanos from Infinity War. Yeah. That's 2012 Thanos.
To be fair, though, people do say that was a cut against the movie.
I guess.
Like when Wanda's like, you took everything from me.
Right, right.
Like,
He's like, I don't even know who you are.
Like, I do kind of agree that it's like, it makes it feel a little less important.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, why do we give a shit?
Yeah.
You know? This isn't the one
But
that did everything.
I just think to make...
So, like, I kind of get it, but I still think
complaint-
the movie's fun.
Quantumania?
Yeah.
I think so, too. I think it's a fun movie. I like the...
I like how weird it is.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of things are just weird,
Yeah.
but in a good way. My favorite, though, I am, like, obsessed with the, like, light plasma head
Oh.
guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has...
MODOK.
No.
Oh, no, I know. Never mind.
The,
I know.
like
yeah.
plasma
Orb
cylindrical.
or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know his name if he has one,
I'm pretty sure.
and
does,
he just
yeah.
emits the sun
Yeah.
from his head.
Uh-huh.
I want a movie of just that guy.
I do think though that this movie has the same problem as Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is Evangeline Lilly is a nothing character.
Well, yeah, they
Like it's she had like
they do literally nothing with her.
Hope is just a nothing character.
They've been doing nothing with Hope since Ant-Man.
Yeah, but like I don't. She's just nothing.
I think for me, I have so little expectation for them to do anything at all with Hope that I don't even register it anymore.
Yeah, like it's
I'm
weird
like, I
that
know
she's just
a,
such nothing.
She's a character that exists and is technically supposed to be important in some way,
yeah.
but she's not.
Yeah, she's such a nothing character.
Which is so weird to me. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah. I still think the second Ant-Man and the Wasp is my favorite in the trilogy because it is genuinely hilarious.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in so long. I probably need to go back and watch it again.
It's in my top 10 because I think it is genuinely the best comedic movie in the MCU.
Is Ant-Man and the Wasp the one where they had all like the directing problems because it was gonna be what's his face?
Edgar Wright?
Yeah.
No, that's the original
Oh, okay.
because it was originally going to come out like in 2008 or something.
Oh, okay.
And then
Sorry, I get those
yeah.
things mixed
Is
up.
that Black Widow technically came out in Phase 4?
Oh, it did. Black Widow
Is fine.
is
It just came out. What the time period it came out shot itself in the foot.
is fine.
The family dynamic, great.
It coming out
After Endgame,
literally right after Endgame was
it shot itself in the foot.
a huge mistake.
Sure was. Oh, also Secret Invasion.
Um,
But Secret Invasion.
I haven't
sucks.
watched that yet.
Yeah, it sucks.
But I think if Black Widow was again a smaller scale, it was.
I think Black Widow's fine as it is. I just think it came out at the wrong time.
It came out at the wrong time, but also like everything that was the family dynamic, I was obsessed with. I was like, I could watch a 3-hour movie of this family.
Yeah.
Once you got into like the fucking like
Taskmaster is stupid.
helicarrier situation
Yeah.
up in the sky, I was like, it's a little bit stupid, but whatever,
Yeah.
we'll roll with it. And then the pheromones, I was
Yeah.
like, I cannot handle it.
Yeah. And then No Way Home, great movie.
Haven't watched it.
Really? Okay.
I said I only watched
No, I know.
Homecoming.
I don't know.
I haven't watched any of
Guardians 3, fantastic.
I also need to watch that.
And the Guardians Holiday Special I actually didn't like.
I need to watch that as well.
I know people really like it. I didn't really like it. And that's everything from Phase 4.
Yeah.
And technically Phase 5.
Yeah. So I think
I'm just
I'm
waiting
like
for the DCU.
I'm like halfway through Phase 4
yeah.
and one movie into Phase 5.
Yeah, we have we have the
The
Marvels coming out.
Which is it just me or am I seeing like literally no ads for it? Is that a part of it you're not allowed to advertise?
Well, I mean
During
they
the strike?
they can advertise but the actors can't.
I know.
So
I get that I'm not seeing any like press conferences.
That's a lot of ads. That's usually a lot of push for movies.
But I feel like I've seen basically no ads.
I haven't seen most ads for most movies. Some movies came out that I was waiting for it to come out and I was like, oh fuck, they're out already. You'd be surprised how much actors are a big press for the.
I guess that's fair. Like, yeah, I guess you don't even think about it. Like, usually you would think about, like, oh, what did they wear on the red carpet? And they will be on, like, talk shows and stuff like that. You're right. Because
big push.
that is a big push. Because people, that's the thing. You want it to be the actors because people are usually more invested in the actors.
Yeah, because, like, a trailer is just a trailer.
Especially if you're a casual fan.
Yeah.
That's how you get butts in the seats.
Yeah. All right. Fuck. I'm going to have an extra 10 minutes to edit.
Sorry.
All right. Well,
I
hey.
have a lot of thoughts about MCU.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. You have 1 week to watch Blue Lock. So fucking hurry up, Dave. Stop slacking.
He has a whole week.
Yeah. Well, stop slacking, Dave. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Don't forget to check out Kat at Kat the Moonstar on Twitch. And we will see you next week for Anime Club.
Woo!
And you'll find out whatever Kat's pick is.
Yeah.
See ya.